Today we are joined by Toni Jordan. Toni is a veteran of St. Louis, Missouri, and a charismatic leader in the peer world. She is a recipient of multiple awards since being in recovery. She is authentic and genuine to her peers. She has been a proud trainer for peers in recovery for about 8 years. Toni is a phenomenal presenter, a motivational speaker, mother, and grandmother. Toni is well known in the arena of behavioral health, a CPS trainer, and credential holder of CPS. Toni has been in recovery for 16 years from co-occurring disorder and loves to motivate others to move along in the recovery process. Please join me in welcoming Toni.
Hi, welcome to Moving On Up. This presentation is presented by me, Toni Jordan. I am a certified peer specialist as well as having a certification in addiction. I work for Criminal Justice Ministries and I coordinate and run the program called Let's Start. So moving on up. This is a presentation that will be presented to you, and it is geared toward people in recovery, especially those in substance use disorders. So moving on up, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is addiction and how addiction can steal you from being motivated. I chose the name Moving On Up because when you're motivated, you're moving. You're moving forward. And the recovery definition is overcoming our health and wellness and living a self-directed life and living to our full potential. So what addiction does, it is a chronic disease that has the potential to negatively affect the person's life and health. And with me speaking, I am a person in recovery. And I do have lived experience in this recovery process that I have been in for 16 years. And my addiction took over my life for maybe 20 years of my life. And I was not motivated. Motivated to do more and sink deeply into my active addiction. And it was there that my addiction took priority over my life, my family's life, anything that may have played a major role in my life before picking up a drug was now just dead. Like everything that mattered to me was getting the next hit of dope. So addiction is a chronic disease that has the potential to negatively affect the person's life and health. Addiction makes it difficult to manage. I didn't have a job. If I did, I may have had a job no more than 3 months. It really affected me to hold on to a job because my priority again was wanting to be a part of the streets, a part of where drugs was prevalent, and I wanted to take part in that. That consumed my whole day of how I would get the drug and stay on that high, to stay numb to the things that had happened to me. It made it difficult to me to manage my family, relationships of any kind, whether they was intimate, friendship relationships, family relationships, whatever it was difficult for me to manage or to even be a friend. I didn't know how to be a friend to myself. So I didn't really know how to have any kind of relationships. It also made it difficult on my health, my physical health as well as mental. It took a great toll on me mentally to where I stayed depressed, and not to feel those feelings of depression or pity party or sorry for myself. That kept me to stay high all the time. So I wanted to stay on some kind of drug that altered my mood so that I didn't have to feel the true feelings that was going on with myself. I began to, it affected me physically, and physically I began not taking care of myself. And that is like going to the doctor, seeing whether I had good health and wellness, or whether I needed to take control over some things. So when I was coming out and coming into recovery, I came with a lot of issues, especially a lot of health issues, high blood pressure. I had diabetes type 2. I had high cholesterol. It was just bad. I would lose weight up and down, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. So that caused me to like not be proportionate like I should. When I'm not on the drug, I want to eat up everything. And so I feel my addiction would go towards that. As we know, addiction can be anything: a food addiction, a gambling addiction, drug addiction. And so you just have to be more aware and conscious of your choices when you know that you have that addicted brain. So when I began to enter treatment and made that choice to do it, most of the time I ran the treatment because I was running from my PO. And I would go into treatment because I didn't want to go to prison. I didn't want to be locked up, but I would run in there and like, hey, I'm in treatment. I'm trying to help myself, but that didn't work all the time. And it was many times that I didn't stay in treatment to even get any kind of treatment for that drug addiction that I had. So making the decision to enter recovery takes courage to admit that even I had a problem, because I ain't have a problem. Everybody around me had a problem with drugs, but I didn't. Everybody had made bad decisions. They was living bad, but that wasn't me. It takes strength to ask for help and faith to walk into a treatment center. So before me just running into her, I was afraid and I didn't want to be locked up or locked down. So I done that. But the last time when it was true feelings that I wanted to take and move into recovery, it took courage for me to do that. It took courage for me to admit that I had a problem with a drug that I used every day that was consuming me mentally, physically, emotionally. It took every being of me, mind, body, and soul. And it took strength for me to ask for help because I knew it all. I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want nobody to feel like I was needy or anything. So it took strength for me to even ask for help, and even the faith to walk into that treatment door, knowing that I was giving up what was my priority every day. Faith to know that I can do this, that I can stay here however long it was going to take for me to get my life in order. And it took just those three main things: courage, strength, and faith. Why you may want to enter treatment? Entering treatment stems from multiple motivating factors. It's all kind of things that motivate us negatively, or it's going to motivate us to a positive move. So negatively, the motivating factors for me entering treatment was I did have some traumatizing events, and it was complex because things kept happening to me. I didn't even know what traumatized mean until I got in this behavior health arena. But after going to treatment, speaking to counselors and therapists and people who wanted to help me, and I really wanted to help myself, it was those things that had happened to me. Overdose, loss of a family member can be that, loss of children, which happened to me due to my addiction. DFS came in, took my children, and placed them in somebody else's home. So traumatizing events, and traumatizing can be anything to anybody. And whatever that person may be traumatized with may not affect me the same as it affects that person. So whatever a person feel that they have been traumatized by, they have been traumatized by it. It can be a car accident, some kind of natural disaster, witnessing someone being harmed, or someone being shot or killed. Those are traumatizing events. You can also have self-referral into a program. Experiencing the pain of a progressive disease which causes suffering in one's life can be a determining factor for an individual to enter treatment. And if you don't get that, that is the main crust of why some of us be so sick and tired of ourselves, because it's the pain that we have endured, the pain that causes you and pushes you up against the wall and make you want to make a positive change. That is the pain that I experienced. I experienced a lot of pain that I would let that drug numb me to, so that I didn't feel that pain. But when the drug ain't there no more and now all this pain is coming back up to surface, it caused me like that I needed to do something different. It brought some motivating powers in me that I wanted to make a positive change to improve my health and wellness. And so it was experiencing that pain again that helped me to move on into a better space. And that caused me to take every part of me, every thought of me, and everything that it took in me to enter treatment, be honest in treatment, and to receive the care and help that was there for me. Like again, I said, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, and not of other people, but of yourself. I was sick and tired, and so sick and tired of being me. My name may be Toni Jordan, but I was sick and tired of who I had became, that monster that was portraying to be Toni. And I had to really find my true self once I got into recovery. But I was really sick and tired of being the monster that I was when I did get to the point and all that pain kicked in that I didn't cause my children, my husband, my family members, neighbors. You know, I was sick and tired of that. And so things will make you or push you either to one spectrum of being positive, or either you're going to continue in the mud and just dig a deeper hole for yourself. And like I always tell people, coming into recovery and finding motivation is an inside job. Recovery is inside and works its way out. And recovery for me took some deep cleansing. And I had to really be motivated that I knew I can do this. I had to find the strength that I can do this. People would tell me many times, "You're a strong woman. You're a strong woman." And I would downplay that. But I learned that when people give you compliments, you receive that. And that helped to build me up to who I am. Okay, these people saying I'm strong. Well, let me be strong. Let me find that strength within me to overcome picking up any drug throughout the day. And it was there that I found it, because I became sick and tired of being that person that I was. Without personal motivation, a person would not make the decision to fight their addiction. It's a fight. And I tell people, it's like having a kung fu fight at time, boy. You be fighting, like fist fighting, almost like being on the battlefield when people are over at war, and being in Iraq and they fighting for their lives. It is here in this addiction that you fight for your life. As you may know, that some people don't make it to recovery. You know, some of us die before we even get a chance to get there. And so I had to fight to get to where I am today. Therefore, staying motivated is the key that helps maintain sobriety long enough to reach the happiness of living a life of recovery. And that is where I am today. If God don't bless me no more than what he has already, I am at a great place in life that I appreciate all that I have been blessed with. That I mean, I'm good. I am good right here. I love what I do. I love taking part in this conference. I love being here, and I hope that what I am saying in this presentation that somebody needs to hear, because I love to present some information, and maybe somebody is somewhere that is want to be motivated for treatment, just ain't latched on. So I'm hoping I'm speaking to the people that need to be motivated to keep moving on, or whether you want to take the step to get into recovery. But it is living a life of recovery brings about some happiness. And you see, motivation is the key to help bring that happiness. You know, sometimes we feel like happiness can come from things on the outside, external things, having money, having a significant other, having a husband, having children. Your happiness comes from inside, because you got to find your true happiness with yourself before you can find happiness with anyone else or anything else. So finding happiness is an inside job. So you got to be happy with self, and then that will help you to be a better person in this recovery process. Maintaining recovery is critical. You got to maintain this thing. This is a lifelong job. If you ever, or you are a person that has a substance use disorder, you know that this job takes daily preference over our lives. It's a lifelong journey. It's human nature to avoid discomfort. Recovery is uncomfortable, but recovery is possible. I told you at the beginning of this presentation that I had 16 years of recovery, and that didn't come easy, but I don't make it hard neither, because people in recovery can be some complicated people, but it's also a simple job. So I want you to know, if I can do it, anybody can do recovery process, okay? You have to let go of the unhealthy people, places, and things. And that was a challenge for me. I was a people pleasing person. And so I didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings. And, you know, so if I see somebody that I knew probably wasn't healthy for me, and I was getting an icky feeling on the inside, but I'm still trying to hang around and be around you, that's bad. That's our women intuition. That's your intuition allowing you to know that this is not a good space for you. And I wasn't listening to my inside. I was really ignoring what was going on with my body, you know, the anxiety that I was having when I was doing things with people and places, being places I shouldn't be, but I'm calling myself in recovery. I have to let those places go. And I had to know, once I began to love me, then I began to love all of me, my mind, body, and soul, and begin to let those people go. Begin to not care whether they, you know, how they feelings was if I told them no, or no, that's something I'm not doing, or that I'm a person in recovery. I would try to hide those things because I wanted and thought that was being, you know, hip, or I wanted to stay with the groovy people. But I'm very pleased with where I am and who I am and who I hang with today. So, and you also got to trust the process. You got to let go, trust the process. You know, within this process, there is some higher power. Some people believe in a God. That is what I do. Some people can believe in a light fixture, or they believe in that chair. Whatever it is, trust the process. You know, let somebody that has a better understanding of where you're going to guide you throughout that. And that's what I do. I let my God of my understanding guide me in my life so that I don't get in the driver's seat, because that took me to down some avenues I never wanted to go down. And I don't never want to go down there again. So I know I have to sit on the passenger side, and I allow my God to take over, and I trust this process. Motivation is the key to sustaining sobriety. Stay involved in your local recovery community. I love being involved with the community. being involved with the community puts you out there. You meet some wonderful people. You do some amazing things. I wouldn't be here at this Real Voices, Real Choices conference if I didn't put my recovery process out there, because I never would have known about this conference. This is an amazing conference. I'm really sad that we're not meeting in person, and I'm seeing all those jolly, happy faces as I would down the hallways or at karaoke or doing some of those great things that we done when we was at Tantera. So, but we still here. We still wanted to provide you with some awesome information, as well as have some of the fun times as well. So I'm really glad that we could still present some presentations to you and have a good time and keep this conference going. 2020 ain't been the same as 2019 and previous, but we hoping for a better year in 2021. So motivation is the key to sustaining your sobriety. Motivation. Being motivated is a strong factor in having a successful recovery outcome. Motivation is an inside job. Y'all heard me. I'm going to keep saying it. You may hear it more than once, but you need to hear it. You need to know that even though you may put the drug down, or you go and you didn't put on makeup, you got your hair done, you got on nice clothes and things, that you're looking good on the outside, has that job been taken care of on the inside of your minds, on the inside of your heart? Those things is what bring about change. Motivation helps bring about change. I'm sure you also heard about motivational interviewing. And motivational interviewing is another way that people that work with people with substance use disorders help bring about change. Asking those questions that help you to deal and find out who you really are. Like finding who I really was like, oh, I was an ugly person, and I don't want to be like that no more. I want to treat people how I want to be treated. I don't want to bring harm to no one, and I don't want to put off any kind of feelings that I wouldn't have. So again, motivation is an inside job. It's healing from the inside out. Finding what makes you internally happy. So you got to find that happy place. And I found that happy place. I am happy today. Every day I try to live in spite of what's going on around me. We got this pandemic going on. I live in St. Louis. It's a lot of violence going on, but I still find me a happy place. I have to, because that helps to keep me mentally sane, and being mentally in a good place is having me in a good place. So you always have to find you an internal happy place, okay? Studies have shown that people with more intrinsic motivation for overcoming addiction are most likely to succeed. Intrinsic motivations such as health issues, getting their children back, primary caregiver for an ill family member, etc. Those are those factors that help to motivate people to succeed in their addiction. That is something I wanted, getting my children back. In my active addiction, I have 5 beautiful daughters, as a matter of fact. And at the time I began using, I had only 1 daughter, but I used with the next 4 of my daughters. So as I was pregnant and going through trimesters, I was continually picking up a drug and using that drug, not even thinking the harm that I was doing to those children. And so I believe in my process of being selfish and doing the things that I wanted to do, it also affected my children's their mind from growing. So my children began having issues, and I believe my drug usage caused that to my daughter. So you have to be motivated. So when I did want to find recovery and get recovery, it was my children that was a great motivator for me to stay in this process, stay in this race. No matter what happened, I wanted to stay in the race. I also wanted my freedom. In my past and active addiction, that brought about a lot of justice involvement, which sent me to prison. It sent me to jail multiple times. And I didn't want to go back to those places. I like having my freedom. I love being able to eat when I want to eat, being able to put on clothes that I choose, shoes that I choose, and doing things that I would like to do. So it was a lot of motivating factors that kept me to want to stay in this recovery process. And those are things that you will want to find, things that would keep you and want you, that you will want to be in this recovery process. Okay. Tips for staying motivated in recovery. Anybody know some? I wish I was in person with you, that maybe we could have this conversation and let's talk about maybe some tips for staying motivated in recovery. But I'm going to give you some tips that I have. Celebrate. Celebrate big and small accomplishments. I don't care if you have stayed clean for, and I'm sorry, staying from active usage. So say like you new in the recovery process, you have put down the drug and you have not actively used, and this is your first 24 hours. Celebrate that first 24 hours. It is the small things that make up the big things. So I don't ever want you to not celebrate whatever it is. Celebrate getting a job. If it was a tough time or you didn't stay employed when you was in active addiction, celebrate when you got a job. I did. I was excited for myself, and this celebrating those accomplishments is helping you to stay motivated in this recovery process. Some of us, it was challenging to get jobs. For some of us, for me, I didn't have no degree. So I had to go like to fast food restaurants, hotels, working as a housekeeper or laundry room, different little jobs like that that helped me. I learned how to sew in prison, and I worked at MVE, which landed me a job when I came home from prison. And I worked making theatrical dance wear. I was so satisfied because I used to tell God to take these hands from me. I don't care what you do, God, but I don't ever want to pick up anything that will land me back in prison. And I'm so glad that God don't listen to our demands, or, because I wouldn't have no hands. But God saw fit for me to have these hands, and I made wonderful danceware with them. And so it was times that I just laughed for the things I asked for, and that the relationship that me and my God have, because I made some wonderful dancewear, which helped land me a job. And I was making wonderful dancewear for kids that would that wanted to dance. It's people that this is what they love doing. And so I began to enjoy making items for people, and knowing that what they was doing with it. Build a healthy support system. That is a great motivating factor for being motivated in recovery. Having a healthy support system, somebody that's going to be there, encourage you, motivate you, keep pushing you to and letting you know, oh, you're doing a great job, Toni. Keep going. I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. I didn't hear that at home. And I don't know if my family was afraid to say anything, thinking that I might fell off the horse. But when I went to support groups, I would hear these women who knew that I kept coming back. I sat there as a sponge. I soaked in things that was being said in that group. I began to role model recovery and take the suggestions that they were saying. So I had me a healthy support system, and that it kept me coming back. and kept me wanting to know more. Addiction cannot be overcome alone. You can't do this process by yourself. This is not a single individual program. You know, it takes many others. It takes many people to help us in this recovery process. And it's okay, but it's the healthy people that you choose. And if you don't know what healthy and unhealthy is, you need to know that those unhealthy people is those people who ain't going to celebrate with you, who ain't going to encourage you to do the right thing. And those healthy people are those people that probably you don't want to be with, but we need to be with. So those are the healthy people. I had to learn what was healthy and what was unhealthy. You know, people who wanted to keep picking up that dope. And I know if I pick up the dope, it's going to have me all on another book that I don't even want to be in. So you have to know what your support system is. Take one day at a time, even if it's taking 1 hour at a time, 1/2 hour at a time, whatever it takes for you to stay in this recovery process, to stay motivated, you do just that. Maintaining recovery from addiction is a big goal. That's the biggest goal. You want to go years and years with that. But I can't look forward to, oh, I want to be clean in 2025. You know, yes, that is my big goal. Beyond that is my big goal. I want to live until God take me away from here. That is my big goal. But I have to focus on the present. That can only be reached by breaking it down into smaller steps. And so if we stay within the first 24 hours, waking up today, I'm thankful that God woke me up, brought me to carry out whatever he wanted me to carry out in this day, and living up to whatever I had to do just in this 24 hours. I can't worry about tomorrow. I can't worry about what happened yesterday, because the yesterday is gone and tomorrow is a mystery, because I don't know if I'm going to be here. So I'm going to stay in the present. So you got to learn that. Whether it's staying in the whole 24 hours and having those days planned out, or whether it's living by hourly. And some people have to do that, but whatever it does, and for you, because recovery is not individualized. You know, you have to do what you got to do for you. Recovery comes many pathways. Recovery can come from church, you being a part of a church family. Celebrate Recovery is out there. NAAA, CA, GA. You have Smart Recovery. It's different paths to recovery, so I don't ever want you to feel that it's only one way. You have to create structure. And that is something that I had to bring into my life, is having some kind of structure, because I was all over the place. I was a person that didn't have no boundaries, didn't have no structure. And I had to do and learn these things to stay in this recovery process. So I took suggestions. Create and maintain a schedule of new and healthy habits. You know, my mind kept going, and my mind seemed like it never shut off. I went to bed thinking about what I was going to do the next day to support my addiction. I mean, the mind, I probably dreamed of it, woke up thinking about it. So you have to create a structure, a new schedule to what that healthiness day gonna look like. What is it gonna look like for you? You know, it wasn't just getting up, not taking care of my body, not washing up, not brushing my teeth, not combing my hair. Half of the time I would just leave out the house to go make a run, or go to the store, pick this up, and oh, I'll do all that later. Knowing I wasn't gonna do that later. So now it's all about taking care of Toni first. I'm gonna brush my hair, I'm gonna brush my teeth, you know, take baths and take care of me before I be able to take care of anybody else. I had to form and create this new structure in my life so that I could learn how to live a life of healthiness. And it brought about different changes in my life, and that motivated me to wake up every day, because I didn't have extra. It seemed like being in an addiction brings about extra because that's a job. You know, it takes a job to be in an addiction because I stole to support the habit. I lied. I cheated. I manipulated. All that is it takes more. And just living a life of recovery is being me and who I actually am, being honest, living day to day. Like, I mean, it's nothing more I would rather do. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you questions at the end, and if you was here with me, I would want people to maybe tell me some of the things that they done or how they found structure, if you have found some, or how could I be helpful to you. But if you do have questions, I always know you can always send them in to me. I ask you that at the end. It's also building confidence. Building confidence is keeping a positive attitude. This is essential to success and recovery. So build yourself up instead of focusing on my mistakes. And because I can beat myself up, because I want to be that perfect person. And every time I made a wrong mistake and I knew it was wrong, I done it anyway. And I just would beat myself up, but I didn't already made that mistake. So my thing was wanting to make a different and good, healthy, positive choice and not that same mistake. And it was many times I would beat myself up, boy. I would beat myself up. And I mean, that brought about some low confidence. I didn't have no confidence in me. When it became the decision making, I would ask other people, what is the best thing? How do they know what's best for me? They not me. You know, they probably giving me an answer that helped and supported them. I needed to know what was the best thing I should do. So building up your confidence in this recovery process is essential to success in this recovery thing. You know, you have to build yourself up, and sometimes you want others to do it. Others don't know what you need. You know what you need. Everybody knows what the problem is, and they know how to solve that problem. But sometimes it's something that's keeping them from solving that problem, and that is what it is. Help find out what that barrier is so we can break it down because it can be broke down. You can have confidence. Everybody can live and have a positive attitude. Even though something bad may happen to me, it's okay. I still have to have a positive attitude about it. We're going to lose loved ones. They're going to die. We are here. We live to die. And I understand that. And it may not be the right moment, and I might wanted them to stay here on this earth with me, but I got to have and carry on for those that are here. I have to carry on for me, myself, you know, and then be here for my children and show them how resilient I can be no matter what obstacle, what challenge comes my way. I have to show them. And that's what helps build the confidence in me that I know I can take on about anything, any challenge, any obstacle, any trial I can take on because I'm believing I'm going to come out on the other side. Now we have to talk about relapse. Relapse is a part of the recovery process. You know, I try not to focus on relapse because I keep that out of my equation. I don't want me to know like that's a choice for me because my little manipulating mind may manipulate me to start doing things I shouldn't be doing. There are warning signs that can happen before you ever to pick up a drug. Being overly confident. You got to have some balance here. It takes balance to be in this recovery process. And for me, I was a person that was the extremist. I either went from this side of the spectrum all the way over to the other side. It was no middle for me. And so you have to know not to be overly confident in who you are. Like, oh, I don't need people. I can do this process by myself. I just said you can't do it alone. And many other recovering people will tell you that as well. Recovery is a process that you can't do alone. Being impatient. You got to have some patience. Recovery is going to come. You're going to get, just like you may have a day, you may want the 16 that I have. It's going to come for you. I remember being back there with that first 24 hours, and I was behind the jail cell wall, but I counted every day because it's just as much drugs in prison and jails than it is out here on the streets of St. Louis. And so I counted my days while I was in recovery, and I had to be patient with me in this recovery process. I had to be patient with things I want, and that is something I still work on today, is having patience with things, because really I want things like the microwave, 1 minute popcorn. Yeah, that's what I need. I need stuff to happen now, not yesterday, not a week from now. You know, I want to be a homeowner, and I want my credit to be correct right now. I want God to make a miracle happen, you know? So I have to be patient. You have to have patience in this recovery process. So a warning sign would be having impatience, complacency. Woo! That's another talk, a presentation within itself, but having complacency is a warning sign that relapse is about to happen. So know what your warning signs are. Oh, you got to be aware of what's going on around you. Be conscious of what's going on with you. You know, and because sometimes things can be moving so fast that we are not paying attention to our warning signs. And they be right there in our face. Fatigue is something that could easily happen to us. You know, oh, I'm just working, or I'm doing this, or I got to do that, and we just piling things up and piling, and not taking care of ourselves. That is the main part of being in recovery, is taking care of ourselves. Self-care is a main vital point that we should do in recovery. So a warning sign would be fatigue, being tired, and being overworking yourself. So know that fatigue is a warning sign. Depression is a warning sign. Being depressed about some things that is going on. You ain't got to be have this as a diagnosis. Just being depressed about any situation can be a warning sign of relapse. You know, being depressed that you lost a loved one, being depressed that something didn't happen as you wanted it to. You know, depression can come on about many factors, but depression is a warning sign of relapse. Self-pity. Having self-pity. Self-pity, boy, we can get on that pity pot and never get off. Having self-pity will take you back to some places that you would never want to go to, and you would want to like stay there. You know, sometimes it get comfortable for us because we want to have that self-pity. But self-pity can be a warning sign for relapse. Unrealistic expectations. Expecting something that is unrealistic. So you got to have realistic expectations, you know, just like they say, realistic goals. But thinking of something unrealistic as an expectation, we have no control over other people. So, oh, I want my significant other to be there when I get out of jail or out of prison or out of treatment. We don't know. We don't know what's going on with them. Or I want my significant other to stop picking up the drug. We have no control over other people. So just because you're in recovery don't mean that your significant other will be in there. So having those unrealistic expectations of things or situations or people is something that is a warning sign. Dishonesty. I spoke earlier about how honesty is a vital point in recovery. Being dishonest, you're being lying. I know that I'm headed toward a relapse because now I'm being dishonest about some things. So dishonesty is also a warning sign. Contentiousness, knowing that being content, being where you are, is not where you should be. So know that. Frustration, being frustrated all the time. Yes, we're going to experience frustration, but we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay with frustration. Some people get so stuck with the negative part that happens in our life and staying so negative and being so frustrated about something that you don't even see that that's almost like a distraction, which is keeping us from going and moving where we need to go. So frustration and holding on to that could be a warning sign. Lack of discipline. Lack of discipline, not being disciplined. No matter your age, you have to be disciplined. I had to learn that. It takes structure. It takes discipline to be in recovery. So knowing that it's a lack of discipline, something you lacking in, something you need discipline, but it's a lack of discipline that is a warning sign. Relapse is a natural part of recovery. I said that. So just know it's a part of recovery, but we don't have to go there. Compared to chronic illnesses, substance use disorders have a relapse rate of 40 to 60%. Okay? Motivation can be renewed after a relapse. Just because I relapse don't mean that, oh, recovery is over for me. We can get up, dust ourselves off, and get back and get motivated. Learn from whatever took us back, and we thought that we could pick up that drug, whatever it is. We need to recognize what our triggers was. What was the symptom? What happened here? Think about that so that you would know that you don't want to go back to that place again. Them are experiences that you need to know that'll keep you away from that so that you can stay motivated and in recovery. There are 3 types of motivation in addiction recovery. You have self-motivation. This is the queen of motivation. It is when the addict has discovered that it is something more precious to change for than the drug addiction itself. And that is what you get. Self-motivation, boy, that's the inside. That's your mind, body, and soul wanting to come out and be who you really are. That is discovering what that precious change on the inside. I knew it was more to me than what I was doing and who I was. And so it's that self-motivation that helps you to be that. It can be a child, a job, life itself, or personal values such as dignity or having integrity. You know, it was those things that I had lost in my active addiction, but I wanted back. I wanted my dignity. I wanted some integrity that Toni didn't have to be the slithery, slimy snake that was around that caused so much chaos in my life as well as others. Everything doesn't work for all, but hitting rock bottom provides a clear choice between the addiction and something vital importance, okay? Another one is called leverage. This comes from an external motivation, outside factors, okay? The choice has to be crystal clear and consequences have to be credible. Will the consequences keep me motivated to stay in recovery and not to do drugs again? I don't know. That's up to you. You know, the point of motivation is like a scale. What matters most in your life are the consequences. Consequences can be whatever, like, you know, going back to prison. That weighed heavily on my scale. I didn't want to keep going back there. That is the place I don't want to go to. So I had to find some leverage. Like, Toni, get your life in order, because if you keep doing the things you're doing, you see it keep taking you back to jail, prisons, and institutions. And so I wanted something different. The third one is called seduction. Telling the truth and being willing to let go. Let go of all that is not healthy. All that unhealthy mess, let that go. All those unhealthy people, why would you want unhealthy people in your life? Still causing a lot of chaos. Chaos. Every day is chaos. No, that's something I don't want today. So you got to let go. Simply allowing the truth to be heard by speaking what is really going on with the addict and what the consequences can actually be. Speaking truth, speaking honesty, regardless to whoever it is, friend, whether you're hearing it from a parent, a loved one, or whatever, but them speaking truth of what is really going on. So for an example, an addict can listen to a loved one when life hits and the time has come for the addict to seek professional help, which can help lure the addict into recovery. Many times, my mother-in-law and family members told me I needed recovery and going to treatment. You ain't tell me I ain't going today. That drug had me like this. It had me in the palm of its hand, and it held me in, But when people are speaking to you from the heart, and maybe letting you know how harmful you are hurting them and how much pain you are bringing to them, that is seduction, bringing you in, luring you into making you to be a better person by entering treatment or getting some kind of help for yourself. So remember, motivation is a personal thing. It comes from inside. This is an inside job which just pours out of us. It's a mind, body, and soul thing. You got to be motivated to even move out. Motivation is the desire and the willingness to do something. I wanted recovery. I wanted it bad. I can taste it. So I knew the two key words in that definition of motivation is the desire and the willingness to do something. And that is something I gave to my life, is the desire and the willingness to do something. And I began every day to be motivated. It became a personal thing for me. I was going to beat this thing. I can do it. People tell me I'm strong. I can beat this drug today. I can win. You a winner. I continually tell myself that I'm a winner. I'm victorious. You have to speak those things into existence as they are. Motivation comes from within with minimal external factors. Motivation is crucial to your recovery process. Motivation can take you to possible places you thought were impossible. So these are the sources I got this information from. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope to see you next year, 2020, Real Voices, Real Choices. We got something for you. Any questions, I will answer. I will send you back any information you need. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Thank you, Toni. Man, I tell you what, that was a recorded session, and Toni's zeal for life and her charisma comes through no matter what she does, doesn't it? So I just love listening to Toni talk. Again,